Hi and welcome to a new video series on Google Earth Engine. So in this tutorial I will try to discuss how you can easily classify the solve map in Google Earth Engine. So mainly in this tutorial I will try to show you how you can easily classify the different types of class what you need. You easily classify your solve map, okay? And I also first of all I also discuss something about the solve. So first of all we should know what is the solve. So we can say that solve is a angle. It can be defined as the angle, inclination, steepness or gradient of a straight line, okay? And solve we can describe the steepness of the ground surface, and it is the rise or fall the land surface, okay? And here you can see this is the example of different types of rise or fall of the land surface. Here you can see this is the example of the solve. So mainly we can say that solve is the inclination or steepness or gradient and of the ground surface, okay? It defines the rise and fall of the land surface, okay? So now how we can measure the solve in remote sensing? So we can use the different types of remote sensing data in here. We can easily get this information, can analyze the digital elevation data. We can use the different types of elevation data, and we can also take the different types of elevation point. We can also measure here the different types of contour lines. Then we can use the different type of DEM or digital elevation model. So in this tutorial I will try to show you how you can easily measure the solve using the DEM, okay, in Google Earth Engine. So now why it is important? So mainly this is the lot of importance in the geographic boundary, and we can get easily identify here the lot of application. Suppose if you want, you can, when you use a make a map, you can easily make a describe the landforms. To it help to describe the landforms and to model the surface runoff. You can easily make the model of surface runoff using the solve. You can easily characterize the different types of habitat using this solve, okay? And you can easily classify the different types of soils using this solve map, and you to access the potential for development as well as it also to make a model to wildfire risks, okay? So here I include some application of the solve. So here it has the many application available, okay? So just I can discuss here the some application of the solve map. So now I will go to my code editor in Earth Engine code editor, and I also try to show you how you can easily classification of your solve map, different classification. So first of all I go to my code editor. So here you can see here I already make a solve map for the region of Bhutan. So now I will make the classification. So I want to make the classification. So here you can see this is the solve map, and now I want to make the classification, okay? So how I can classify it? So first of all you can see here I also short description about this code, and I already published this video how you can easily make the hillshade as well as also make the solve as well as also make the aspect map using the Google Earth Engine. You can easily find this tutorial in my YouTube channel. So in this case I will use the solve map, and now I want to make the classification. suppose I want to make the classification solve, and then I also calculated the each classification area. Okay, how many area will be available in this particular solve. Okay, so I want to also calculate the area in this part. So first of all, you can see here I simply use here the Bhutan country boundary shape file, then I use here the NASA SRTM digital elevation data. Okay, here I simply import it, and now and finally I will show this result in this part. So now I want to classify this result. So for this I take a variable, and get this variable name. You can use the any variable name. I use this variable name is solve class. Okay, I simply use this solve class, and now I want to define it some classes. Okay, you can get your own classes, what class you need. So in this case I will classes the 7 classes in this part. So first of all I call the main image. So I use here the ee.image function. I call this image, and I simply use here the 1, and then I use here the put my 7 classes one by one. Okay, so suppose I want to use here the where function, and it defined which pixel value or which pixel value I want to get from here. So I defined here first classes, so that I use here the where and defined my argument in this part. In this part I want to only for those solve which will not be greater than 5. Okay, so I simply call my variable solve area, and I simply paste here, and then I use here the greater than, it will be greater than 5. Okay, I use here the greater than 5, and I also use here the another argument, so that I use here the end function, and after this end function I call again my study area solve. Okay, this variable I call this variable, so I simply copy here, and I use here the it will be less than equal 10. Okay, so I define my classes, and my class will be 2. So first class I define here the first class, it will be greater than this class is from the 0, and it will be 0 to 5, and then I also define the second class, it will be 5 to 10. Okay, then I also define the another class, it will be 10 to 15. Okay, so just I simply copy this code, Okay, I copy this code and paste here, and in this time I also get from this result, suppose I want to it will be greater than 10 and less than 50, and it will be 3 classes, and I also define the another classes, then it will be greater than 50 and it will be less than 20, and it will be 4 classes, and I also define the same way, then I also define here the simply, and now I want to use here the it will be greater than 20. Okay, it will be greater than 20 and less than 25. This is the another classes, I simply use here this, and I also use here the another classes, and it will be greater than 2.5 and it will be less than 30. Okay, and these classes will be 6. Okay, and finally last classes I also take the another classes, and it will be I can get this, it will be less than 30, greater than 30, and it will be less than 45. You can use this here 40. Okay, I can define here the classes, and it will be number of 7. So here you can see here I defined my classes, okay, and if you want you can also increase this. Actually it's totally depend on you how many classes or how many solve you want to need. You can just put this number in this case, okay. So it means that I also write a comment here. It means that our first class will be start from the 0 to 5. This is our first classes, and second classes will be start 5 to 10, and third classes will be start from the 10 to 15, then fourth classes will be started 15 to 20, and fourth classes and fifth classes will be start from 20 to 25, and it will be gone, okay. And it will be last, it will be start from the 30 to 100, okay. I define here the classes. I define here the total 7 classes. Here you can see this is the 7 classes I defined it, and I also use here this classification of this DEM. So here you can see first classes will be 0 to 5. Here I get in these classes I get all of this solve value between this range, okay. And second classes I also get this value solve value from 5 to 10, okay. Third we can also get the third classes this value we can get the 10 to 50, and we can also get all of this rest will be same, okay. So I hope you understand how you can easily make the classification, okay. So you can easily put your own classification what you need or what the solve you need. Just you can put this number like this and then it will be work, okay. So now I also show this result in this part. So for this I simply use here the map.addLayer function. I simply use here the map.addLayer function and simply call this variable, and I also clip with my region of interest. So I simply use here the region of interest, and I also defined here my classes value, okay. So in this part you can see here my first classes it will be mean classes will be start from 1, and max class will be start it will be 7. So I simply call the 7, okay. So now you can see here it will be run, and when I click to the run and we can get this result, but in this time we cannot add any colorful or color map, so that's why we cannot get the proper result, okay. So now you can see it will be appeared, but we cannot easily define our 7 classes in this part. So we need to add here the 7 different color. We need to add here the 7 different types of colors, so that the 7 class will be show the different color, so that we can easily identify this color is our first class. It will be range the solve from 0 to 5, and we also identify the second, third, fourth, fifth or 7th class, okay, easily. So I can simply use here the 7 color code in a list. So here I already make this list. I simply copy this color plated list. I simply copy this, okay. I simply copy this and paste in my code editor. You can easily find the different type of color. You can simply search the Google the different types of color plated. You can simply copy this code and run this. Here you can see here I defined the total 7 color, and this total 7 color will be defined the individual 7 classes, okay, which classes I put here in this part. So I simply copy this variable name, and then I use here the plated function. This is the plated function. I simply use here the plated, then simply paste this name, variable name, okay. So now I define this color in this code, and when I click to the run I can get the a colorful result, and this result will be define our 7 classes, our individual 7 classes, and we can easily understand which portion will be 0 to 5 solve, and 5 to 10, 10 to 50 and 50 to 20. You can see here now this map will be more readable. Map will be appeared in this part. you can see, and we will also classify this map using this classification, and which point I will put here. You can see first classification will be 0 to 5, second 5 to 10, 10 to 50. This is the solved number, and I classify this, and individually I classify this, and I also add here the different type of color, so that anyone can easily understand which classifier you want is defined in this part. So now if you want, you can calculate. Suppose you want to calculate how many area will be available this classify range, or how many area will be available between this classify range. Okay, so now we also calculated the totally 7 classified area, and calculated how many area will be available between this here. Okay, so for this I simply use here the another function, this function called the EE image pixel area. So mainly this EE image pixel area is calculated the square meter. So I take the another variable in this part. Suppose I simply use here the variable, I take the variable, suppose this variable name, I kept this variable name is classified area. Okay, so now I want to classify this area, so I take this variable name classified area. You can use the any variable name, it totally depend on you. And then I simply use here the function, this function ee dot image dot pixel area. I use this function pixel area. Okay, in this pixel area, it calculated the pixel area into square meter, but I want to get this result into the square kilometer. So that's why I need to divide with the 10 to the power 6, or if you want to use the multiply, then you need to use multiply with the 10 inverse 6. So in this part I use the divide function. Divide, when you use the divide, you need to use here the 10 e6. It means that it will be 10 to the power 6, and if you want you can multiply, then you need to use here the multiply function, and then you need to use here the 10 inverse 6. Okay, so it will be same, and it will be calculated our result into square kilometer. Okay, so I can get the result in square kilometer, and then I also need to add here my band name, which band I want to calculate it. So I simply use here the add bands function, and then I simply call my band name. So in this case my band name is the solve class. I simply copy this and paste here. Okay, and then I make this reduce region function, this make calculate the total all of these classes pixel value, and also give the group all of this list. Okay, so I simply use here the function, this function is the reduce region. Okay, I use this function reduce region, this function, and I simply put all of this here one by one. Here you can see all of this argument will be available. I make a list, I make a dictionary, I use here the curly bracket between two side, and I also put all of this value one by one. First of all, reducer, it is an statistical function. In this part I want to calculate the total pixel value of the each classes, so I simply use here the reducer dot sum function. Okay, and then I also make the group. So for this I use here the make the group, because I want to use here the group function, and this group I included all of this one by one. This you can see, this is the argument. I make a dictionary in this part, and I simply put the curly bracket between two side, and simply use here the group field. So in this part our group field value, I can gap this value is 1, and group name I also gap this group name will be the same for our variable name. In this case our variable name is solve class. I simply copy this and paste here. So I defined a group, so it will be make a group, and you can easily get your result. Okay, so then you can see at the geometry. So in this part, geometry is mainly it what's your the region of interest name. So in this part I simply use here the geometry. This is my geometry variable name. I simply copy this variable name and paste here, and then I also use here the geometry function because I define it, it will be geometry. Okay, and then I also define here the scale. Scale is the resolution of these images. So in this part, this resolution is the 30 meter. Okay, I simply use the 30 meter, and all of this part needed not needed for this time, and this is the big region. For this we also need to use here the max pixel, and I can set this value will be 1e10. okay, I can gap this value is 10e10. I can gap this value, it means 10 to the power 10, and tile scale is not needed for this time. I simply remove this. So now you can see here I make a code. For this code is the calculated our classes, every classes. Here you can see it will be calculated how many area will be available between this solve from 0 to 5. okay, and it will be calculated how many region will be available from the 5 to 10. okay, and how many region will be available from the 10 to 50, and it will be calculated the square kilometer unit, because here I use the divide this 10 and all of this the same. And I also make the group so that I can easily make a group, and this group show all of this result one by one. So now I want to show this result. For this I use here the print function, and I simply copy our classified area, this variable name, and put here. And when I click to the run, you can see our console tab will be running, and make a dictionary. And in this dictionary I hope we will get all of this pixel classes, individual classes area, how many area will be available. So you can see one property, and you can see this is the list, and it is the 7 elements, because in this here I will classify the 7 classes between here. Oh, I simply open it. You can see here the 0. It means that this is our first, and you can see this is the total area will be, you can see one total area from 0 to 5. From 0 to 5 the total area only for the 83 kilometer. You can see here the second classes. Here you can say this is the second classes, it will be 5 to 10, and here in this slope we will get the result for the total area in the 161 kilometer, and we can get all of this result one by one, all of these individual classes. We can calculate it all of this part one by one. So if you want, you can also easily export this map in TIFF format and use the another software, just ArcMap or QGIS. Okay, you can easily do it for your own research work. You can easily make this the solved map, and also make the classification, different types of classification, and use it very easily. So I hope in this tutorial you can easily understand how you can easily make a solved map, as well as also make the classification of the different types of classification in this solved map, and also calculated how many area will be available for the individual solved area. So if you like this video, and you can also, if you have any question, then you can comment this question in the comment section. I will try to answer all of this. And finally, if you want to learn from me directly, then you can enroll all of this course. So basically in this part you can see here the different types of course now will be available. If you want, you can join with me live class in Zoom and learn all of these things in remote sensing using the Google Earth Engine and other software, just ArcMap or QGIS. Then you can easily contact with me. Here you can see this is our course. This course name is the basic Google Earth Engine for the beginners. So in this course mainly I will focus who don't know any programming language and who don't know any knowledge in Earth Engine. Then you can easily enroll this course and get all of this information and learn how to use the Google Earth Engine for any remote sensing application. Okay, and you can see this is our total course module, and this is the another advanced course module for 3 days. Here in this part I will try to show all of this application in Google Earth Engine. So how you can easily all of this thing. Here you can see this is our course module, and you can see this is the another course for the water quality analysis using the Sentinel-2 imagery. Basically in this course I will discuss how you can easily calculate the turbidity, chlorophyll and total suspended solid. And if you have any own algorithm and if you have any own equation, actually you can put all of this equation in Google Earth Engine and calculate your own result easily. Okay, so basically in this course I will try to focus the three parameter, three factor. I will try to show all of this and also make the chart animation, as well as also make the Google Earth Engine app. Okay, you can easily, when you enroll this course, you can get all of these things. Okay, and this is the another course for the land use and land classification using the Google Earth Engine in Zoom class. Mainly in this course I will use the different types of machine learning for classified the land cover classification in Google Earth Engine. Okay, then we can also discuss here the different types of classifier, so that you can easily understand which classifier is the best for your own land cover classification map. And we also calculate the different types of classified area. Okay, and how you can easily add the legend of your LOLC map, how you can easily make the chart of LOLC classified area, and how you can easily calculate the accuracy assessment of your map. Okay, so now if you want to enroll the any course, and just you can contact with me, and this contact information I will add in my video description, so that you can easily contact with me using this information. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this video and learn new things. Okay, thank you for watching this video.